Hello my motor enthusiasts. A thrilling start to the British Grand Prix weekend at Silverstone, with Lando Norris of McLaren leading the pack in the initial practice sessions. Hot on his heels is Max Verstappen from Red Bull, setting the stage for what looks to be a head-to-head battle between McLaren and Red Bull. While Mercedes and Ferrari are trailing with performances that left much to be desired, the McLaren duo, Norris and Oscar Piastri, expressed satisfaction with their showing. Meanwhile, Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez believe there's room for improvement. Across the paddock, from Lewis Hamilton's call for more car performance to Yuki Tsunoda's optimism for qualifying, the teams are gearing up for an intense weekend. Daniel Ricciardo hopes to bounce back, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly are seeking direction, and the Aston Martin squad faces uncertainty with the fluctuating conditions. Over at Williams and Haas, efforts are on to refine performances, as the Stake F1 team kick Sauber rounds off a solid start. Stay tuned, as the quest for speed and strategy unfolds on this iconic circuit. Hey everyone, I'm Enzo, zooming through your speakers from F1 Motor Fever podcast, where we chat all things motorsport every day. Joining me is the always insightful William Turner, who's got the know-how on everything from tires to tactics. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and drop us a line in the comments. Sharing with your mates and family really fuels our engines here.
Absolutely, Enzo. It's great to be here, and today's lineup is sparking my circuits already. There's tons to unpack.
Speaking of today, you won't believe the twists and turns from the latest practice sessions. It's all heating up at Silverstone, and I just can't wait to dive into the details with you all. Why is it so riveting? Well, it's not every day you see such a tight contest brewing right ahead of the race. It's going to impact the whole championship landscape.
Oh, it's a cracker, isn't it? The tension's building and it's only practice.
Stick with us, folks. We're going full throttle. Diving deeper into the nitty-gritty of the British Grand Prix's first day, let's talk about the frontrunners. Lando Norris really left his mark topping the charts, but what's interesting here is how Max Verstappen, despite not grabbing the headlines, closely matched Norris's pace. It's quite the duel brewing at Silverstone between McLaren and Red Bull.
Indeed, and let's not glance over Oscar Piastri and Sergio Perez. They are right up there, adding layers to this tussle. It's shaping up to be a riveting contest, isn't it?
Absolutely. Lando mentioned how the day was solid overall. He managed to get into a good rhythm after making some adjustments in the morning, which is crucial on a high-speed track like Silverstone. He pointed out the challenges posed by the wind and the occasional rain, but remained upbeat about the performance. It seems the weather might play a significant role going forward.
That's right, and Oscar Piastri also had his share to say. He noted improvements needed overnight to refine the car's setup, especially with the potentially wet conditions expected. Piastri is gearing up for an unpredictable day which can really shake things up.
And from the pit wall, Andrea Stella from McLaren gave us a peek into their strategy. He emphasized not dwelling too much on lap times due to the tricky conditions, focusing instead on preparing for whatever the weather throws at them next. It's that kind of adaptability that could make or break a race weekend.
Shifting gears to Red Bull, Max Verstappen's comments were quite telling. He acknowledged that there's a bit of work to be done. It seems they are not fully there yet in terms of car setup, but knowing their team, they'll be burning the midnight oil to find those crucial tenths of a second.
True, and that's what makes Formula One so enthralling. The constant battle, not just on track but off it, in the garages, where strategies and decisions are made that affect every lap. It's a chess match at over 200 km/h.
Couldn't have said it better myself. As we look towards tomorrow, it's anyone's game. With the weather playing its part, we might just see some surprises that could turn the championship tide.
It's going to be a spectacle, that's for certain. Let's keep our eyes peeled and see how this battle unfolds at the iconic Silverstone. Stay tuned. Moving to how the teams are tackling their challenges, particularly with tires and weather conditions. It seems the soft tire didn't favor Red Bull in the second free practice, causing Max Verstappen to abort a lap at Chapel due to a slide. They're keen on sifting through their data tonight to refine their approach for the qualifying.
And Sergio Perez, despite missing the first practice, noted a solid session on his end. He emphasized the need for balance in the lower and medium speeds, though he was pleased with the car's performance at high speed. Interesting to see how missing a session adds immediate pressure, yet Perez and his stand-in, Isaac Hadjar, seemed to have managed quite well.
Yes, Isaac Hadjar stepping in for FP1 certainly made an impression, describing the drive as nearly unforgettable. He praised the car's braking and high-speed capabilities, which could be crucial if the weather turns as expected. Mercedes, on the other hand, are not sitting quietly either.
That's true. Lewis Hamilton sounded cautiously optimistic. acknowledging they are not quite at the pace of the frontrunners yet but are hopeful to bridge that gap with some overnight work. It's also heartening to hear his enthusiasm about the crowd at Silverstone. That energy from home fans can sometimes be that extra push drivers need.
Certainly adds a layer of excitement. With the predicted weather changes, strategy adaptation will be key. Teams will need sharp responses to whatever conditions the track throws at them. It's shaping up to be a dynamic weekend at Silverstone with all these variables at play.
Absolutely, and with the crowd support and the unpredictable British weather, we're in for quite the spectacle. Let's see how these strategies unfold and which team best adapts to these fast-evolving conditions.
It's all to play for. Keep tuned as we bring continuous updates right from the heart of the action here at Silverstone. Turning our attention to the Mercedes camp, George Russell highlighted a mixed day at Silverstone. While the first practice went well, the second faced challenges, partly due to the windy conditions, which didn't help with tyre performance. It's clear they're in a tight contest with Ferrari, and they're looking to refine their setups overnight to gain any possible edge.
Speaking of Ferrari, both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz have had a busy day collecting data. It sounds like they've got their work cut out for them tonight, analyzing the data to enhance their car's performance. Sainz mentioned that they've achieved their objective of gathering the needed insights to prepare for tomorrow's qualifying.
And not to forget, Andrew Shovlin from Mercedes, who pointed out that despite the decent start in the first practice, the increased wind made the car less stable in the second. It's these kinds of incremental adjustments and reactions to conditions that differentiate the good teams from the great.
Absolutely, and it's this adaptability that often decides who comes out on top on race day. Now, shifting focus a bit to VCARB and Yuki Tsunoda, it appears they had a challenging day with some lost track time in the first practice, but managed to collect a good amount of data in the second. This kind of resilience is crucial, especially in a season as competitive as this one.
Indeed, the ability to bounce back and make the most of every session is what keeps the teams in the hunt for points. As we look towards the rest of the weekend, with potential rain and shifting conditions, it's going to be all about who can adapt the fastest and who can extract the most from their cars under pressure.
That's the essence of Formula One, isn't it? Strategy, speed, and adaptation. As we get ready for tomorrow, it's anyone's guess who'll make the best of these unpredictable conditions.
Keep tuned for more updates and in-depth analysis as we continue to bring you all the action from the thrilling British Grand Prix weekend. Today we've seen teams grappling with the unique demands of Silverstone's high-speed corners. Daniel Ricciardo mentioned a challenging day, pinning down issues that didn't allow them to fully gauge their pace. He's hopeful to extract a few more tenths tomorrow, suggesting that the true potential of their car hasn't been fully tapped into yet.
That's right. It resonates with what my uncle used to say, it's not over until it's over. Just like in racing, you keep tweaking and pushing until the last possible moment. Alan Permanet also highlighted some struggles, particularly with Yuki's early spin costing valuable track time. They are eyeing some crucial adjustments overnight to enhance their low-speed performance.
Absolutely, and it seems Alpine also had its share of ups and downs today. Esteban Ocon felt positive about the car's initial setup in the morning but admitted that they might have taken a step back in the afternoon. It's this iterative process, trying different setups and parts, that often leads to significant breakthroughs or, sometimes, a return to the drawing board.
And speaking of adjustments, the teams are not just racing against each other but also against the unpredictable British weather. The forecast for rain could throw another spanner in the works, adding another layer of complexity to their strategies.
That unpredictability is part of what makes Silverstone such a thrilling venue for the races. The fans, who turned up in great numbers today, are surely in for a treat this weekend with all the strategic gambles and adjustments unfolding. It's going to be an exciting one, make sure to stay tuned as the action continues. Over at the Haas team, they're expressing satisfaction with their sessions today. Oliver Bearman, tackling the track at his home race, managed to test a new package on the car, which seems to have gone down well. I've got a mate who'd be chuffed to hear about this given his fondness for underdog stories in the sport.
It's always encouraging to see younger drivers and teams feeling confident about their progress. It adds an exciting layer to the dynamics of the race weekend, especially when new updates are put to the test.
Absolutely, and speaking of updates, Nico Hülkenberg also had a promising day with Haas. They switched back to the previous specifications during the break and managed a smooth transition. It's these kinds of strategic plays that can really make a difference in performance over the weekend.
Switching over to AlphaTauri, Pierre Gasly had a bit of a tough time today, didn't he? He's facing a grid penalty on Sunday, which means he'll start from the back, but the team is focused on optimizing the car setup for the race. They are hoping to claw back some positions and potentially fight for points.
Indeed, and Jack Doohan's commentary was quite positive as well. He's pleased with the dry running they managed to get after a rain-soaked session in Canada. It's these kinds of back-to-back challenges that really test a driver and a team's adaptability across different conditions.
That adaptability will be crucial, especially with the unpredictable English weather. The slightly greasy track conditions today already threw a bit of a curveball. Teams will need to be on their toes to adjust strategies quickly.
Tomorrow's qualifying will be crucial for setting the tone for the rest of the weekend. With all these developments and adjustments happening, it's shaping up to be an intriguing setup to race day. Stay tuned as we continue to bring all the riveting details from the track here at Silverstone. Just to take a side note here, the updates we've been discussing today come from an article on GrandPrix247.com, penned by someone going by the moniker Newsdesk, published on the 5th of July, 2024.
It's a solid source for Formula One news. It's always beneficial to have reliable websites like that to keep us updated. However, it's equally important to cross-check facts to ensure accuracy and remain well informed.
Absolutely, staying informed with credible information helps us provide the most accurate and up-to-date commentary. Carrying on then. Moving on, let's talk about the contrasting days at Haas and Aston Martin. Ayao Komatsu, the team principal for Haas, mentioned that while Nico Hülkenberg adapted well to the updated package, Kevin Magnussen faced some struggles with the car's behavior compared to previous races. It's a mix of success and challenges.
That's often the case, isn't it? One part of the team finds a rhythm while the other part encounters hurdles. But it's the response to these challenges that really tests a team's mettle.
Absolutely. And over at Aston Martin, in front of their home crowd, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso experienced fluctuating fortunes. Starting strong in free practice 1, Lance even clinched position 2, but then in free practice 2, they slid down to positions 9 and 11.
It shows just how dynamic the conditions and performance can be even across a single day. Switching to soft tyres seemed to initially pay off for Lance during the end of FP1.
Yes, those tyre choices can really turn the tables. Hopefully, Haas can iron out the issues with Kevin's setup overnight. It's crucial for morale and performance, especially when you have one driver who's clearly more comfortable with the current configuration.
Meanwhile, the weather might play a pivotal role this weekend. Rain is on the forecast, and as we heard, some drivers are more welcoming of it than others. It could level the playing field or it could widen gaps.
It certainly adds an element of unpredictability. Watching how teams adapt their strategies in response to weather changes is always fascinating. It's all to play for, and these variables make the sport as thrilling as it is. Shifting focus to Williams Racing, the team has seen a steady start at the British Grand Prix. Both Franco Colapinto and Alex Albon were busy on track, with Franco making his first appearance in free practice 1 and completing 24 laps, finishing in position 18.
It's always exciting to see new talents like Franco taking to the track. Despite finishing in the lower positions, his enthusiasm and the learning curve are what's crucial at this stage of his career.
Indeed, and it sounds like he's quite motivated to make the most of this experience. Meanwhile, Alex Albon noted a mixed day but expressed optimism about the long runs, feeling that the car has improved compared to last year.
That's promising, especially since consistency and incremental improvements are key in Formula One. With rain expected, it could really test their setup and adaptability during the weekend.
Absolutely, weather always plays a crucial role, adding that unpredictable element that can turn the race weekend on its head. Speaking of weather, Fernando Alonso from Aston Martin remarked that the wet conditions this season have been somewhat favourable to them. It seems like some teams might secretly be hoping for a downpour.
Yes, it can level the playing field or give an edge to those who might struggle in the dry. It's all about strategy and how well teams and drivers adapt to the conditions on the day.
With Lance Stroll aiming for Q3 after a competitive showing in practice, it's clear that Aston Martin is setting their sights high for the qualifying session. The teams have their work cut out for them, balancing between performance and the looming threat of rain.
That's the beauty of Formula One, isn't it? The constant balancing act between risk and reward, all under the watchful eyes of thousands of fans. It's what makes the sport so exhilarating.
Exactly, and with the British Grand Prix, there's always an extra layer of excitement with the passionate home crowd. Every session, every lap counts, and it's all building up to what promises to be a spectacular race day. Moving on, the teams are truly in a sprint against time to fine-tune their setups for qualifying. Sven Smeets pointed out that while the initial feedback from Franco Colapinto and Alex Albon was positive, especially regarding the long runs, there's still some urgency to rectify the balance issues on low fuel. It's clear that the unpredictability of the British weather is a crucial factor they're considering.
It's interesting to note the optimism around the adjustments made and the potential for improvement. However, I'd argue that focusing too heavily on the unpredictability of weather conditions can sometimes detract from addressing the fundamental issues of the car's balance and performance.
That's an intriguing point. While the weather can indeed be a wild card, it's also a common external factor that all teams must negotiate. Are you suggesting that teams might be leaning too much on it as an excuse rather than tackling the core technical challenges?
Precisely. While it's essential to prepare for all conditions, there's a risk of becoming too preoccupied with weather forecasts. This might lead to overlooking more consistent gains from refining the car's performance across all conditions, not just the wet or unpredictable ones.
I see where you're coming from, and it's a valid argument. There's definitely a balance to be struck between being prepared for variable weather and ensuring the car performs well in any condition. Still, I believe that for circuits like Silverstone, where weather can turn on a dime, a bit of emphasis on adaptability isn't misplaced.
Of course, and it's perfectly normal to have differing views on this. What's important is keeping an open mind and considering how different strategies play out across the season. It adds depth to how we understand team strategies and driver performances.
Agreed, and it's something I'll ponder further. It's essential to weigh both sides of the argument. The ability to adapt quickly can indeed be as crucial as the pursuit of a perfectly balanced car.
Exactly, and that's what makes the sport so complex and fascinating. Each decision, each adjustment carries weight and can have significant impacts come race day. It's a continuous learning curve for us as analysts and for the teams on the track.
As we near the end of today's discussions, it's worth noting the encouraging signs from the Stake F1 team Kick Sauber. Valtteri Bottas highlighted that they're just a tenth away from the top 10, which is a substantial improvement and a testament to the team's hard work overnight.
Yes, it's quite impressive. The team has been experimenting with different setups between the two cars, which seems to have provided them with valuable data. Bottas mentioned an improvement in balance, especially in the high-speed corners, which is crucial at a track like Silverstone.
Absolutely, and Zhou Guanyu's comments reinforce that sentiment. He seems quite pleased with the car's performance and the track itself, which he described as enjoyable and fun to drive. It's clear that the team is moving in the right direction, although there's still work to be done to refine the car's baseline and balance.
That's the perpetual challenge, isn't it? Making those incremental gains, session by session. It'll be interesting to see how the data collected today influences their strategies for qualifying tomorrow, especially with such a narrow gap to the top 10.
Indeed, every little bit of progress counts and can make a significant difference in the standings. It's this meticulous attention to detail and constant tweaking that often separates the midfield teams from the frontrunners.
And with the weather ever-changing, the team's ability to adapt quickly could very well be the key to securing a better position in tomorrow's sessions. It keeps the competition fierce and the outcomes uncertain, which is exactly what makes Formula One so thrilling.
That's right. As we continue to watch these developments unfold, it's clear that the dedication and strategy of each team will play a pivotal role in shaping the results of this weekend's Grand Prix. We'll be keeping a close eye on how these adjustments impact the performance on track. William, what's the word on the street, internet-wise?
Right, listen to this. Over on a popular discussion forum, there's quite a bit of chatter about the 2024 British Grand Prix's first free practice. The main post is stirring up the pot a bit, asking, quote, 2024 British GP, free practice 1 discussion, FP1. Can we stop talking about the Max versus Norris collision now, unquote.
Seems like that incident is still a hot topic then.
Absolutely, and the comments are a gold mine. One user, Samuel Lobster, said, quote, Sky's piece with Lewis is a banger. Enjoying this, unquote. Meanwhile, Todd Ozo commented on a driver's luck, saying, quote, Duhen using up his bad juju, both attempts hindered by extraneous errors, unquote.
Interesting takes there. Anything on team strategies or updates?
Indeed, there is. User Simon Flying Banana made a quip about one of the drivers, saying, quote, Stroll is gonna stroll till he dies, unquote. And another, Ghosting, chimed in with, quote, haha FP1 is their moment, famous last words, unquote. It seems the fans have a bit of a cheeky attitude towards the team's early struggles.
The banter is always a part of the sport, isn't it? How about the media coverage? Any mentions there?
Yes, Gina Yenna highlighted the media's focus, remarking, quote, Sky still banging on about the incident after FP1 LOL. Brundle, Natalie and Simon currently grilling Horner, unquote. And then there's a deep dive by several users into whether this continued focus on past controversies is necessary. Sam True Colors expressed frustration, saying, quote, It's been milked to the death already, I don't care if it's only FP1, unquote.
Seems like there's a bit of division on how much that incident should still be in the limelight.
Precisely, and another user, Amy Ryan, pointed out, quote, Do you think most viewers follow everything as closely as we do here? They can't just cater to diehards who know all the ins and outs, unquote. It highlights the balance the media tries to maintain between casual fans and the diehards.
That's a tough line to walk. Well, it sounds like the conversation online is as lively as ever. Thanks for that roundup, William. It's always enlightening to hear the pulse of the community alongside our own analysis. Thanks for tuning into F1 Motor Fever podcast today. We had a riveting discussion about the latest happenings in Formula One, including team updates and fan reactions. We truly appreciate your company. Please, do subscribe and activate those notifications so you never miss out on our discussions. Your support by sharing our episodes across social media and amongst friends really helps us grow and continue bringing you top-notch content. And we'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment below.
Absolutely, and remember, we're here dishing out the latest and greatest from the world of Formula One every single day. There's always something brewing on the horizon, and you wouldn't want to miss out on any of the action or the occasional cheeky banter, right? So, keep those notifications sharp.
We're incredibly grateful for your engagement and enthusiasm. Looking forward to having you with us in the next episode, where we'll continue to dive deep into the thrilling world of motorsport.
Until then, keep the spirits high and the discussions lively.
Pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road, our channel's content is pure gold.